can remind me, otherwise you will face issue, like if you miss any classes or you want to go through the classes, right? So please remind me if any of the class I will miss that, right? So in the meanwhile you can open your JMeter, right? So I told you how you can open your JMeter, right? Where you have installed your JMeter, go to that particular folder. So I have installed my JMeter inside the software application. I'm going inside that folder and the unzip file, click on the bin, and here you will see that yeah, the window batch command here, window batch command, this one, bat file. You have to click on that link only. You don't have to click on the other link. Only you have to click on the window batch command. Okay. And if you don't want to every time go to this particular path and then click, create the shortcut, right click and create the shortcut. If you right click on that by selecting here, you can see create shortcut, right? After creating the shortcut, this will create the shortcut icon for you. You can move this shortcut icon into your desktop, right? Here you can see I have already moved my shortcut icon. Here you can see, if I go here, let me close this thing, and here you can see I have already moved here, right? So so that you can save your time. Okay, you don't have to go to that particular folder and then you can click on the bat file. You can create the shortcut for that. Okay, so last time, let me call to the person who has not joined. Last reminder for them. So guys, please open your JMeter in your machine till now, please. And please do the practice along with me. If you don't do the practice along with me, then you will definitely face the problem. Okay, because I have, guys, you can mute yourself. I have taken multiple classes, right? Now the course is already over, and now the person has start facing the issue, right? So that's why I would recommend, please be walk with me. Okay, so if you walk with me, then if you face any issue, you can easily resolve the issue. Okay, so I'm going to open my JMeter. So I have already opened my JMeter. Okay, so this is the UI of the JMeter. Okay, and let me remove all the things from here. Okay, right. Now, in the last class where I was, anyone can remind me, like on which topic we were discussing on last time? Anyone can, who has attended in my previous classes?
Because you were explaining about that components of the listeners, that latency, response time,
Yeah, exactly.
connection time.
I was explaining the listener, right? The listener. So I told you what did you mean by the listener, right? If you click on the right click on the add, here you can see the listener. So listener is basically your report, and inside the listener we have different types of the report to represent your result, right? In the form of tree, in the form of summary report, in the form of aggregate report. Guys, you can mute yourself. So in the form of aggregate result, in the form of graph, right, in the form of table. So basically listener, if the interviewer asks you that what did you mean by the listener, so using the listener we can represent our result. in the form of table, in the form of summary, in the form of aggregate report, in the form of graph, in the form of table, right? So listener, what listener is doing? Listener accumulate all the result and display the things in the form of tree, result, graph, table, right? So these all are the different types of the listener which we are using in the real time industry. Okay, in which you can see on my screen there are multiple listener. Guys, you can mute. There are multiple listener, so in which we are using 4 to 5 listener majorly. 95% we are using in the real time, right? So the first one is view result tree, second one is summary report, aggregate graph, and then generate summary result, and then view result in table. Okay, these all are the listener which we are using frequently in our project. Frequently we are using in our project, right? So I have discussed already about view result tree, right? I have added the view result tree, and what I will do, let me clear all the things. Here you can see the icon. Can you see the icon here? This icon, if you select any particular listener and if you click on clear, right, it will clear that particular listener. It will clear that particular listener, whatever the result are stored inside this listener, this summary report listener, that particular listener will get clear. If you click on clear all, then it will clean all the listener. It will clean all the listener, right? So I will use clean all. So you can see all the data. There is not any data. Oh, let me one data I can see. I think it's by default. Let me. Okay, I think when we use this, when you run the API, it will get override. Actually, this is the image, so that's why it's not removing. Let me remove. Clear. Okay, anyway, that's not an issue. Okay, but you can see, clear this thing. Go to the thread group here, thread group. Okay, clear. Okay. So we have added this, guys. You can mute yourself, please. Guys, one thing I want to clear you very neat and clean. If you don't understand the component in the performance testing, right, you can't be a very good performance tester. Okay, in the performance testing, the components are very important, very important. If you understand the component, then you are expert in the performance testing. If you don't know the coding, then even you can be a very good performance tester, right? You have to understand the component, guys, the functionality of the component, right? Because all the things in the performance testing depends on the component. Everything is depend on the component and the configuration and the setup. If you don't do the setup properly, you can't do the performance testing. Okay. Okay, so I have added the listener. This listener is already explained you the summary report. Let me add one request. Here I have added the make my trip. Guys, you can mute yourself. Make my trip. Okay. So I am going to the make my trip, and in the yesterday class I have explained you the component of the URL. Man. Liana, you can mute your camera and yeah, thank you. So guys, tell me, based on the previous classes, can you specify the things? What is this is? The HTTPS. What is this actually?
Request protocol.
This is the protocol.
Protocol.
Right? And after the double slash, I told you what is this? After giving the answer,
Base
please
URL.
mute yourself. This is the base URL, right? And if I click on the hotel, then what is this after the first slash?
Resource.
Resource. If I am going to and book the ticket, I'm going to book the ticket of the Goa. Can you see after the question mark, what did you mean by that?
Query parameters.
Query parameter, exactly guys, thank you. So I'm trying to do the performance testing of make my trip, right? So what I will do, I will take the URL, I will take this URL. Guys, this thing is already explained in the previous classes. So I'm again repeating the same thing, paste it here, right? And this is your protocol. So we don't have to pass the protocol here. Protocol, remove this protocol, right? I have removed this protocol, right? Now what I will do, I'm creating the project from the beginning. Let's suppose this is the, guys, you can mute yourself, please. Uh, Guys, please mute yourself. It's disturbing the class actually. So let's suppose in coming class we will do the performance testing in JPAT store application. We will use JPAT store application for the performance testing. So let's suppose our project is JPAT store, where we are storing the pat animal. JPAT store. This is your project. This is your project, performance testing. Performance testing. Okay. So what I have did, I am rename the test plan name and give the test plan name as a test performance testing. Okay, you can see it here. JPatro performance testing. You can see it here. And I will go into my directory and what I will do it here in the D directory, I will go right click, create one folder and mention the name of the folder, performance testing class. Okay, performance testing class. Okay, I have created one folder. Inside that folder, I will save my project because I'm trying to design, right? So I will save my project. So I will use, let me go here and click on save, right? And select that particular directory, D drive, and where it is J performance testing, and open and save, right? So now your JMX file will get created inside that particular directory. Whatever the action you will do here, all the things will get saved here. Okay, if I not save that thing, always it will ask you to save actually. So that's why I save this thing, right? So guys, can you hear my voice? Because as yes. I can see, bad weather is, heavy rain is going on. So if you face any network issue, then let me know.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, fine. So I have saved this project. Clear? Now we are use the different listener, right? I have added one HTTP request and I have what I am doing here, till now I have added the make my trip and I am trying to apply the load. So I am trying to hit the make my trip. Let's suppose 5 user, right? Let me clear and click on start. So you can see it here. You can see it here. The 5 request. If you go here and select, you can see it here. This is your response, right? This is your response. If you go and check the request www.makemytrip.com, you can see it here, right? So this is the view result tree where we can see what is the URL we are passing, what is the response body, what is the method we are passing, all the things we can see it here in view result tree, right? So you can see the sample result, what are the header we are passing, what is the size, all the things. Right now I am not explaining this thing in detail because in coming class we will discuss this thing in more detail. Right now only understand this is your view result tree where you can see all the request and where you can check the response data which coming from the server, okay. And if you go it here, you can see the response code is 200. That means the request which you have hitted on the server, that is www make my trip, that it is successfully working, right? Now come to the summary report. Summary report, not aggregate. Yeah, view result tree, view result table. So in earlier classes I have already explained you about view result in table. Sample is clear, like how many requests I am using, 5, then 1 2 3 4 5, clear. And start time, at which time this particular request get started, that time will get displayed here. You can see on my machine 12:22 and millisecond, and the second will displayed here, right? And this is the this is the user, this called user, one user, this is the second user, this is the third user, this is the fourth user, and this is the fifth user, right? And this is the label, this one, the name of the request, this is known as a label. This thing I have already explained you in previous classes. This is for the refinement, okay. So the sample time I have already explained you. The status I have already explained you. Byte I have already explained you. Send byte I have already explained you. Latency I have already explained you. What did you mean by the latency? You can see it here. How did you calculate the latency? All the things in detail I have explained you. If you go through the document. In the earlier classes I have explained you this thing in detail. And the connection time, the connection time is how, at which time it get connected. Let's suppose I am talking with you, it's taking some time, fraction of millisecond to connect with you, right? So that time will displayed here, right? Now the question is, in this table, in this view result table, what are the things are important? What are the things are the important? Thread name, this thread name is important. Start time, sample time, and latency and connection time. I will explain you in coming classes why it is very important. Okay, so these 5 things are very important. The bytes, send bytes are also important, but not majorly. Okay, now we are moving to the aggregate report. Aggregate report. And this is the frequently used listener in the project. In the real-time project, This is frequently used by the employee, right? Let me explain you. This is the level. This is the your request name. If I change the request name, that request name will displayed here. Sample. So guys, tell me how many requests I am using here. Total, how many users are here?
5.
5. So sample means I told you number of users. So how many numbers of users is here? 5. So it's showing 5. Right now, average time. What did you mean by the average time? Average time. So guys, what is the average time? Let me explain you. This graph is already explained you. The processing time, response time, latency, all the things. Okay. Now, sample I have explained you. What did you mean by the sample? Number of requests who is hitting the server. That is samples. Sample. Okay. Average time. Average time. Let's try to understand the average time. Let's suppose this is your first user and he is trying to hit the home page of Make My Trip. He is trying to hit the home page, right? This is the first user. Let's suppose first user name is Vikas, okay, and second user name is Rahul, and third user name is Priya, okay, and fourth username is Mayank, okay, and fifth username is something like you can say Vinay, right? So the 5 user hitting the Make My Trip, right? The first user is me. When I'm hitting the server, it's taking time, to give the response time. So guys, tell me, what did you mean by the response time? Because in coming classes, response time, average time, latency, processing time, right, this term I will use in coming classes. That's why you have to know what did you mean by the response time. So could you please let me know what did you mean by the response time?
The total time taken by a request to execute.
Total time taken by the server to give the response, right, to return the response, right? So that is the response time. So guys, you can mute. When Vikas, that's me, when I hit the home page or Make My Trip, I am taking 1 second. My response time is 1 second. When Rahul, that means second user, when hitting the server, he is taking, you means the response time is 2 seconds. When Priya is hitting the server, yani, means Make My Trip, then she is taking 3 seconds. When Mayank is hitting the server, the Make My Trip, when let's suppose when Priya is hitting the Make My Trip, so she is getting the response in 3 seconds. She is getting this page in 3 seconds. Okay, and when Mayank hitting the server, he is getting the response in 4 seconds. When Vinay is hitting the response, then he is taking 5 seconds, right? Then how you can calculate the average? Then we will do, what is the formula for that? We will add all the user response time, that is 1 2 3 4 5, that is, you can see it here, the time here I have added and divided by the total number of user. So when I divide 1 plus 2, that is 3, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 4, that is 10, 10 plus 5, 15. When 15 is divided by 5, then is equal to 3 seconds. Then 3 is the average response time. 3 is the average response time. That means average response time is the average of all the response for a particular response sent by the given number of user. Understand, guys? Clear? Average time is clear?
Yes.
Okay, so that's average time is showing here 192. So how these things are calculated? The J meter is internally calculating this thing. If you want to calculate yourself, then what you have to do, this is the time. So you can add this thing. Let me do that if you want to understand in the real time. So I will open the notepad. Guys, one person can add this thing. 2 this is the first response. This is the first user. 1 you can see it here. 1 so this is the 1424 second. The first user is taking 1424 plus 1424, right? So sample times means, guys, response time. Clear? In previous classes I have told you what did you mean by the sample time. Sample times means, you can see it here, response time. Sample time is also known as response time is also known as sample time, load time, and elapsed time. If you gone through the document, I have already explained this thing, right? So you want to calculate the response time, right? You can't believe on this thing. Let's suppose you are not believing this thing, it is calculating correctly. You want to calculate on. Then how you can calculate? Guys, I'm trying to explain the things in very neat and clean way and very deep level. I'm not explaining only high level things. Okay, so try to understand the concept. Right. So what is the response time and 4412, and what is the second one? Go, guys, tell me what is the time taken, response time taken of the second user. The result is on the screen. Please tell me the output.
1791.
1791. So how did you identify that thing? So you can see it here. It will show you this is the second user, this is the third user, this is the fourth user, and this is the fifth user. Fifth, right? So 1791 plus, what is the third one? 2141. What is the fifth one response time? 1990. What is the, sorry, that one was the fourth one, na? 2215, and fifth one is 1990. Now anyone can add this. Otherwise, let me open my
9561.
calculator. Okay, what is the output, ma'am?
9561.
Divided by total number of user. Now you can
5.
divide this thing.
Yeah, 1912.
9561 divided by 5. 1192. And let me go it here. Can you see it here?
Yes.
Right. It will be some round of value. One value either increase or decrease. That doesn't matter. 1 or 3 value. If you calculate the things correctly. So it's clear, average thing.
Yes.
Now move to the second part. Median. What did you mean by the median? So median means median means is a number which divide the sample into two equal half. It divide the number into two equal halves. That means half of the sample are smaller than the median and half of the sample is greater than the median. Let's suppose the medium time is 2856. That means that half of the request taken less than the 2856 millisecond, and half of the request is taking more than the 2856 millisecond. So in the screen, can you see it here? What is the median value here? 1990. That means half of the request is taking less than this value, and half of the sample is taking more than this value. Okay, so let's try to understand here. And what is the value here? 1912. Okay, and medium time is 1990, right? So calculate the less value, less one, below value, which is less than 1990. So can you tell me what are the number? 1424, that is the one, and 1791, that is the second one, right? And correct, there are two value, and the greater than 1990, right? So how many values are there? These two values, right? These two, right? So the median is calculated by your J meter, and it will give the value in millisecond. That means, can you see it here? This is your medium time, and medium time, half of the sample taking less than this time 1190, and half of the sample is taking greater than 1190. 2 and 2, it is half or half, right? Clear?
Yes.
Half request taking less than 1190, half of the sample, not request, half of the sample is taking less than 1190, and half of the sample taking greater than 1190. Clear?
So median is always fixed.
No, it is decided by the calculation, actually. Calculation. Okay, it will internally we have some formula. We have some formula to calculate the medium, right? We will not discuss that medium formula. That is too much complex. We have to summation, and we have to use the summation logic there. So that is not our concern here. This median will provided by the J meter based on this data, this time table, based on this response time. They will decide one median time. They will decide one medium time in which half of the sample will fall under that time, and half of the sample will greater than that time. Okay. But in the real time, yeah, it is important, but not that much frequently used, actually. Okay, but you have to understand the stuff. Okay, give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Let me check how many person are there in the process. Give me a second. Yeah, please do the payment, guys, because this is the fifth class I'm taking, and like still there are 10 to 15% who has not done the payment, right? So if you don't want to continue, then it's up to you, right? If you want to continue the class, then you have to do the payment. Okay. After then, I can share all the things with you. Okay. If you have any problem, then please let me know. Okay. Okay, let's move further. Let's move further. Now, median is clear. 90 percentile. This is very, very important. 90 percentile. What did you mean by the 90 percentile? So, 90 percentile means, let me move this here. 90 percentile. So, let's understand the percentile. The value below which a percentage of data fall. So guys, if I'm asking you, I achieved the 90%, I achieved the 75%, I achieved the 80%, what did you understand by that?
Most of my values are below 90.
So means value are, percentile means the value below a percentile of data fall, the value falls under the percentile value, percentile, whatever the percentile, right? So frequently, the percentile is frequently used in the performance testing in the real time. When you are communicating with your client, they will definitely ask you the percentile.